What's happening, people? We are back. We are live. I hope you are all doing wonderful. I hope you are all doing well. I am so sorry, first and foremost, about that ultra long intro. I was replying to messages on my phone and I completely actually forgot that I was live. I'm not gonna lie, you lot got an intro that was a minute and a half long because I fully forgot that I was going live. But big up to everyone. I hope you are all doing well. You guys know what it is, man. 4 p.m. streams. We are here. We are locked in. And of course, there is never a dull day. There is never a quiet day when it comes to Manchester United and following Manchester United just in general. You guys know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We've got an exciting week ahead of us, first and foremost. No Manchester United on the weekend, but we do play on Monday next week. So you lot can enjoy your Saturday and your Sunday and all of that kind of stuff. We got Champions League football outside of Man United. We got some Champions League football back this week. Semi-finals tomorrow, Bayern versus Real Madrid. And then the next matchup, I think, is PSG versus Dortmund on Wednesday. So that'll be a good one. We got watch-alongs coming for that. It's Monday, so it's full view on United View later on today at 6 p.m. At 5-ish, I'll be on Saeed's channel. Then I will be on United View as always. So it's a consistent afternoon of content. And after that, I got to finish recording a video that I'm trying to put out later this week relating to Manchester United's transfer window. Now, outside of that, it's Monday. It's the day or a few days after a poor performance, a poor result. I feel like that has been the common theme all season. When you come and do a Monday stream, you're kind of coming off the back of what has been a crap performance. And this weekend has been no different. I think now the writing is really on the wall when it comes to the future, and some news that has come out, especially from the Telegraph, we're going to get into it, kind of just shows to me that United are ready for a full overhaul of the squad. That's what it sounds like. And you know what? I've sat here many times before. I've sat here and spoken, on different channels, on different streams about the players that you should sell, the players that should be kept. But the Telegraph have confirmed, and I'm saying confirmed, but it's still speculation, that there's only 3 people that Manchester United might deem as untouchable. 3 players. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what defenders are Manchester United going to go for this year. Is it going to be Todibo? Is it going to be Branthwaite? Is it going to be Tapsoba? Is it going to be Araujo, someone that we've been recently linked to today, but it's not uncommon. I went on the internet trying to find a picture of Araujo. I just typed in Araujo Man United, and I was seeing pictures from 2020, 21, 22 of Manchester United being linked to him. But now again, the rumors have returned. It's kind of resurfaced. So it'll be very, very interesting to see who United end up going for. I've said it before. I've said it on my Twitter page as well. So I'd like to hear everybody's views. There's quite a lot of defenders Man United linked to. I want to know who people think is the better options. But it's going to be a difficult one this season. This is going to be a difficult summer transfer window, because for me, there's no point, in my opinion, really having an overhaul of your squad if it's uncertain the future of the manager. If the future of the manager is uncertain, then an overhaul really, really makes no difference. It really makes no difference getting rid of whoever you want to get rid of, because the structure will still be the same. And when I say the structure, I'm predominantly talking about, the managerial aspect. Now, I know a lot of people have really started to turn on. I feel like with Erik Ten Hag right now, there's the people that still back him. There's the people that still back him. There's the people that despise him. And then there's the people in the middle that don't really back him and don't really despise him. Where do you stand with that? I want to know where you stand, because me, sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I feel bad for him, and sometimes I'm just annoyed about the things that he does or the decisions that he makes. And most recently, of course, his comments after the Burnley game, comparing the 04-05 Manchester United team, who had a young Rooney, a still, developing Ronaldo. He compared that to this season. And the other day I realized Manchester United could finish worse off than David Moyes' record. David Moyes only spent 1 year at Manchester United, but if United failed to win, I think it's 10 points? I think United need 10 out of 12 points to top David Moyes. I'm going to double check, because, every time, and it's so annoying when I look at the table, I just see Arsenal at the top. That's a bit annoying. But when Manchester United under David Moyes finished on 64 points, so I am correct. Manchester United must get at least 10 out of 12 remaining points to finish better off than David Moyes. Bear in mind, Erik ten Hag has already matched the tally of the number of losses under David Moyes. So if I'm speaking on a technical basis, if I'm speaking on a technicality, this is worse than David Moyes' season. And I remember saying it on the weekend. I remember asking you lot in the chat if this was worse. But statistically speaking, this is worse than David Moyes' season. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm just looking at it here. United are currently on 1 goal difference. United finished the season under David Moyes with a 21 goal difference. Basically, United need to score 20 goals from here on out, win every single game, not concede anything, and have 4 games. United have to have 4 clean sheets, score 20 goals, so 5 goals a game, to be in a better finishing position than David Moyes. Now, if we are going off of what is in front of us, because I know a lot of people who are very hard pro Ten Hagers, I know that they like to go off of what is in front of us. The players are the issue. The players. So if we go off of what is in front of us, don't take context into consideration, because a lot of people don't like to consider context when they talk about this current Manchester United season. If we just speak about this season and what's in front of us, then Erik ten Hag this year has failed worse than David Moyes, because he's, if I'm not wrong, he spent more than him in the summer transfer window. He's had 2 years on the cards, and he, in order to finish higher than David Moyes, and when I say higher, I mean points, etc., United have to win 4 games. Newcastle, Palace. What is it? It's Palace away, Newcastle home, Arsenal home, Brighton away. 4 games. United have to win 4 of those. United have to score 20 goals, keep 4 clean sheets, and then maybe, despite spending 250 million this year, or near enough to 250 million, maybe Erik ten Hag will be able to finish higher off than David Moyes did. And a lot of people, a lot of fans, media outlets, etc., they play down David Moyes to be the worst manager post Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, of course, I think that there's definitely room to debate that. But if we are speaking statistically, because people like to use stats. When they talk about Bruno, people like to use stats. When we talk about, Marcus Rashford, people like to use stats. When we talk about, Andre Onana, people like to use stats. So if we are talking statistically, then Erik ten Hag can finish, and probably will finish, worse than David Moyes did, despite the fact that David Moyes is deemed to be the biggest failing manager after Sir Alex Ferguson. People deem that season as the worst season post Alex Ferguson. Yet this season, and this is what I don't understand, is this is a crisis. This is a crisis. This is a crisis, and people are not seeing it for what it is. It's a crisis. It was a crisis to me when United had to crash out of the Champions League and needed some, I think it was like, I remember going into the last game of the Champions League, people were believing, we believe, yeah, we get a result against Bayern and this happens in the next game. That is when you know you're in a crisis, and you know that shit is peak, as they like to say in the UK. Shit is peak, excuse my language, because the Champions League run, can I say, the Champions League run should have been enough to sack Erik ten Hag, or to let him go. It should have been enough, because that is embarrassment in Europe, which is Champions League football, in my opinion, is the best of the best. That's where the best come to compete against each other. So if you are there and you make an embarrassment of the club, the most goals conceded in a group stage for an English team, the worst Champions League run in God knows how long for Manchester United, nearly 20 years. I think it was the worst finish in nearly 20 years. But it's okay. Why? Because Erik ten Hag said, I've reached 3 finals in 2 years. No one else has done that. No one else has done that. Let me quickly get to the chat. Big up to Benji with the super chat. I appreciate it. It says, I've checked out Mina, and delusional people support Erik ten Hag. I don't think it's delusional. I don't think it's delusional. I understand why, can I say, people support Erik ten Hag. I can understand that, because I can also say it's delusional people that just turn on manager. Like, it goes both ways. So I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't say delusional people, but I think it's, you know what I think it is the biggest thing with especially this whole Erik ten Hag in out debate. I think the biggest part for me is people don't want history to repeat itself, and the cycle of managers. We've gone through like 5 managers in 10 years. People don't want history to repeat itself, so they're clinging onto this because this was meant to be the turning point for Manchester United when Erik ten Hag came in. This was meant to be the change in what Manchester United had stood for the last decade, which was overhaul, spending lots of money, manager in, manager out, manager in, manager out. This was meant to be the fresh beginning. And I think people are holding on to that idea because they don't want to see the reality that's what's in front of them. And I understand that. I totally understand that. Big up to Riri in the chat, says, Minna, do you think he has lost most of the players with his blatant favoritism? I don't think he's lost like, when I see stuff like, oh, he's lost the dressing room, I don't buy it. I do think players have had an issue with his maybe like his coaching style and the intensity of stuff. Because why else would players be getting second opinions when it comes to injuries? Casemiro got an injury, couldn't go on international duty. The club said he was fit to go. He said, nah, I'm going to get a second opinion from my doctor, because they don't trust the club. They don't trust the coaching staff. Players are being run into the ground right now. Everybody's picking up injuries left, right, centre. So I don't think there's blatant favoritism for me, but I think sometimes, I genuinely think Erik ten Hag sometimes doesn't know what he wants. And the reason why I say I think he doesn't know what he wants is because he looks at situations such as, you know, buying Mason Mount. For me, is you don't buy Mason Mount to make him your marquee midfield player and just have him coming off as a sub. He's a sub all the time, a bench player. He's sixth man of the year. He's not sixth man of the year because he has been out all the season, but that's his role. He's playing a sixth man role. He's playing a Nick Young role. If you watch basketball, you know Nick Young. That is what he has Mason Mount doing. You don't spend 60 million and 200k plus on wages on a sixth man. You don't do that. And sometimes I feel like that is where the shortcomings come for Erik ten Hag, because when you have these debates with people who are pro ten Hag, people who are, you know, ten Hag out, etc., the conversation of talent ID comes up. Then people say, oh, but he shouldn't have had that much. He shouldn't have had that much authority. The club gave it to him. Okay, cool. But that was one of his outlined requests when he was joining the club. He wanted involvement in the transfer window. He brought in, you know what? I will go as far to say, seriously, honestly, there is not one standout signing for me under Erik ten Hag. I will go on to say that. And that's no fault on him per se. Some of it is on him, and we're going to get to it. But for me, there's no one I can look at and think this signing is what has changed. Because, you know, I look at Oli and I think Bruno was his best signing. Even though it was a club signing, that was his best signing. I can look at, you know, previous managers and be like, you know what, there might have been one player that stood out. But we are 2 years into this, what is it called? Build? Is it called a build? And there is no one I can say stand out for me. On against Burnley, most of that team is players that Erik ten Hag has entrusted or he's brought. And when I say entrusted, I mean players that have evidently played an important role last year and this year. Onana he brought. Dallo, an entrusted player. Wan-Bissaka, an entrusted player. Casemiro, player he brought. Maguire, okay, that's maybe the one player that he probably don't want. Kobe, his player. McTominay, that's an entrusted player. Bruno, entrusted player. Garnacho, a player that he brought through from the academy. Anthony, his player. Rasmus Højlund, his player. People say that he doesn't have his full starting 11. What is his full starting 11 going to look like? Even when it's pretty clear that the players that he has brought, it's not it. Is he? Because I remember Erik ten Hag, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, did a press conference, and he was talking about his best starting 11, and he said the only time he's had his most, like, his preferred starting 11 was one game against City last year, and then the 2 games at the beginning of the season. The game last year against City, the biggest standout player for me was Fred, but Manchester United let him go. Whether United had to let him go or not, they looked at McTominay and Fred and decided to keep McTominay, despite the fact that I said many, many times I would have preferred to keep Fred. His contract is expiring. You just slap him on a little 100k deal. He wasn't even on a lot anyways. Slap him on a 1 or 2 year deal. You need legs in midfield. Fred would have been the perfect player for the style of football that Erik ten Hag is trying to play in midfield this season. And I'm not talking about having a player that does the nice, pretty passes, or you need players that run. You need engines. You can talk about Fred's technical ability, yeah, but Fred did what he did best, which was running. And people used to laugh at me when I said that. But once he left, it was clear to see. It was evident. It was so obvious that is what Fred did for Manchester United. And when he left, Manchester United lost those legs. Lukaku and Pogba did way more than Antony for the Premier League. That's not even a comparison. I don't even think that should be a comparison. Let me just see what the chat is saying before we keep it moving. England boss Gareth Southgate is Manchester United's preferred manager option, but he will not be available until after the summer and the Euros. That's from John Cross at the Mirror. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. I don't think I can handle another. You know that gap between the end of this season and the Euros. Oh my God, the streams are going to be so jokes because we're just going to be talking about the same thing every single day. We're going to be talking about the same manager appointments, the Southgates, the Potters, the Tuchels. We're going to be talking about Zidane. We're going to be talking about the same players. What is going to be this? Literally, the media is just going to be lapping and lapping and lapping the same stuff over and over again. But as always, you lot know what it is, man. I try to make these streams as interactive as possible. So I'm gonna start with big up to the UV team for always making these graphics so I don't have to flip and make my own. Thank you very much, Owen. You are absolutely appreciated. If it ain't Athletic, Ornstein, or Fab, I'm ignoring all the rumors. Facts. Even Fabrizio, for me, guys, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Fabrizio for me is I don't know. For me, if it's not Ornstein, then I don't want to hear it. But today, exclusive from James Ducker at The Telegraph says, Manchester United prepared to listen to offers for a majority of the first team squad, bar rising stars, specifically named Maino, Garnacho and Højlund. They're ready to adopt ultra-flexible approach to the window, won't actively look to sell likes of Rashford, but will give real considerable to offers. So they'll consider any offer that comes their way. For me, I'm not even gonna lie. I will be legit. Maino's for me the only one that's untouchable at Manchester United. You lot might not agree with me. Kobbie Mainoo for me is the only one from the academy that is untouchable. I think with Garnacho, there is absolutely, I think there is potential on the horizon. I totally believe that. And I think right now he's just being overplayed. He's just, I'm not comparing him to Saka, guys, but there was a time, and there is sometimes when Saka plays so much, he goes to England, plays, come back, and he just looks tired. And that's what Garnacho looks like. Over the last couple games, Garnacho has been missing some chances that he would put to bed normally. I'm just hoping this is a phase. Rasmus Højlund, for me, I think Man United are really banking on the idea of him being that guy. They paid 70 million for him when they had other options of strikers lined up: Kolo Muani, Gonzalo Ramos, Harry Kane, etc. There was other strikers on the horizon for them, but they banked on Rasmus Højlund, and they will be banking on him. So I understand why he's on this list as well. But for me, the only Manchester United player right now for the summer transfer window that's untouchable, no one can even look his way, is Kobbie Mainoo. That is the only one for me. But I look at this team right now and I look at, they're saying if it's considerable offers, they'll have a look at it. What is a considerable offer for Marcus Rashford? What's a considerable offer for Bruno Fernandes? What's a considerable offer for Antony? Because what the club value Antony at, and probably what he's actually worth, is nowhere near the same. The club will have to cut their losses, I think, with a lot of players. I think there is a lot of players that Man United will have to cut their losses with, that they've either given big wages to, or they've paid big transfers for, or just players that they're going to have to cut their losses with. And you think of all the players that can leave on a free. You look at, the summer that just passed, I feel like a lot of people left on a free, or it was academy prospects that were leaving. I don't think it'll be like that. I think the academy prospects that might leave could be, you know, the Palestris, etc., the players, Alvaro Fernandez, the ones that are out on loan right now, Brandon Williams, all of them guys. Outside of that, I don't really think that United should focus on offloading academy players like they did last year with Ethan Laird, Zidane Iqbal, etc. I think they need to consider, how the hell are you going to raise money? Because if you are not following Premier League, oh, there you go, the champ mentions it in the chat. Premier League teams have agreed to the spending cap. They've agreed, and 3 teams voted against it: Manchester City, Manchester United, and Aston Villa. I think that's the 3 teams that voted against it, which means there will be a cap on what they can spend depending on what their outgoings are, which is, I think the Premier League's hopes is to balance out the spending levels in the Premier League, you know, forcing clubs to sell people rather than just buying people. You know, I think this will hit teams like Manchester City quite hard, but also this will force Manchester United to rethink their transfer strategy. And like I said, now that they are looking at, you know, 3 players being untouchable and everybody else practically being available on the market, for me, it'll be very, very interesting. And I'd like to know what you lot think. Who do you think has to go? Who do you think has to be sold? Who do you think realistically can go this summer? Because I know a lot of fans are kind of at a wit's end with Marcus Rashford, but we need to be realistic when it comes to talking about Marcus Rashford and him being sold. We have to be very, very realistic. It could happen, and there is a strong possibility that it might not happen. As simple as that. Because I think what Manchester United will value Marcus Rashford at will be way higher than what clubs probably would be willing to pay. I think Man United will look at the way that Chelsea have inflated the market when it comes to buying players, and they're going to be like, you know what, if Mudryk is worth 100, Caicedo is worth 100, Enzo is worth 120, whatever, however much they paid for all these random players, Marcus Rashford has to go for a little bit more. He has to go for a bit more than that. So it'll be, for me, very interesting for that. Next on the news, again, I do tend to take transfer news with a pinch of salt, especially when it's quite early into the summer. Like, it's summer transfer window is nowhere near, but you know that Manchester United is going to be the biggest topic of discussion this summer transfer window because of Ineos and this uncertainty surrounding the manager, surrounding, you know, what is going to be the future. And when I say the future, is United going to be in another rebuild? Because Erik Ten Hag has already told us we can't compete for a title next year. So for me, next year is basically written off. When it comes to Premier League, I don't know what to expect. But I know I'm not expecting us to contend. I know we're going to basically roll over for every team that's contending for the title, because that's what Erik Ten Hag has already kind of made it seem like, that's what it's going to be. We're not contending. This team is not good enough to contend. Top 4 is best. But when Mourinho said that top 2 get in second place with that United squad was an achievement, people called him a loser. I remember Gary Neville and them ripping into him. But when Erik Ten Hag says before a game that Manchester United are not even going to contend, they're not even going to compete for a title next year, they're just going to be in and around the top 4. Apparently, we should just kind of accept that. And I don't like that, but it is what it is. Big up to Steffi. I hope you're doing well. Big up Red Sky Claire says a bit for Shawman, and no one's going to want to pay 80 plus for a 6th place player. Exactly. IK says get rid of McTominay, Anthony, Maguire, Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, Onana, Casemiro, Eriksen. You know what's funny? 4 of those named there is the manager's signings. 3 of them were big transfer fees. 70 million, 60 million, 100 million euros, roughly, for 3 of them. That is, for me, outlandish. Do you know how outlandish that is? Is outlandish even the right word? I don't even know if outlandish is. It's outrageous. It's unacceptable, because how can 1 or 2 years, and you know what? Maybe this is actually what Umar Barada might look at it, because I read an article from Umar Barada, interview with him, on the Financial Times. It was around November, just before he joined United. The interview was done, but it was released after he had joined. It was announced that he was joining United, and he said that, but they basically players have a 1 to 2 year shelf life. And what I mean by 1 to 2 shelf life is he believes that within 1 or 2 years, if they do not show their value, they're out the door. And if you look at Manchester City, that was a common theme. That was always a common theme. You had 1 or 2 years to really solidify yourself in that team, to really impress. Otherwise, you were gone in third year. And now I'm looking at it and thinking, well, now it's time for Manchester United to implement that. Oh, big up to Wajid, just gifted 10 memberships. That's big, man. That's big. W's for Wajid in the chat. I need to see all the people that got the memberships. That is big, man. Big up to Wajid, always supporting the channel here, and I appreciate it. As always, let's see who got memberships. Javid got a membership. Daniel got a membership. Letanyan got one. OT got one. Ishmael got one. Rhino got one. I think I'm missing some people. I am. Leo got one. Lincoln Lawyer got one. Ray got one. And Wajid got one. Wajid gifted himself a membership on the channel. Big up to Wajid, man. He just gifted himself a membership as well. Big up. I appreciate it. Just like Wajid, guys. If you don't want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis. Let's drop some of the let's drop some of the emojis. What emojis? This is the newest emoji here. If you guys want to use it, you can right there in the chat. And of course, joining the membership club, you get to support the channel. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can send in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your opinions, and that also supports the growth of the channel and all the content that we're bringing here as well. Listen, James Ducker reported something else as well, and I don't know. And you lot can tell me, Minna, don't be an idiot. You lot can actually tell me that, and I won't be mad about it. Because I don't want to believe. A part of me doesn't want to believe this, but a part of me really wants to believe it. I don't know how delusional can we be on this channel? How delusional are we allowing us? Are you lot allowing me to be on this channel? Because if we're gonna go delusional, James Ducker reported that exciting young talents such as Florin Wirtz and Jamal Musiala, you lot know, listen, if you're new here, then you lot are about to know how much I love Jamal Musiala, one of my favorite players. And Ducker at the Telegraph is reporting that the two of them are likely to be on the market this summer and would be ordinarily will be of interest to Manchester United. Yet there is to be said very little expectation among Old Trafford because the club, whether the club will be able to match the sort of 80 million to 90 million fees MUFC paid for players such as Maguire and Anthony in recent years, unless there is a bumper summer of sales. Now, I read an article from and it was an article about Bayer Leverkusen, and I think I don't want to say the football director, I want to say maybe the CEO or the football director, whatever they call it over there in Germany. He said that one player that is untouchable this summer is Wirtz. He said that they will look at other players, such as, there's other players that will be available on the market to be sold. But in this current team at Bayer Leverkusen, this guy will be playing German football with Bayer Leverkusen next year. That was guaranteed. He said there is no way that we're selling. So that's why I genuinely think this is just paper talk. Jamal Musiala, bro, no disrespect, yeah. But as a United fan and as a Musiala fan, I would actually feel bad if he came to United right now, especially with where he is in his career. Germany's best player. Dare I say it? He's Germany's best player. He is Germany's best player. Dare I say it? He is one of the better players in Bayern Munich, 100%. He was Germany's best player at the World Cup. I felt bad for him. I actually felt quite bad for him. And he's flourished so much from that move that he made away from Chelsea all the way to Bayern Munich, leaving the England setup and deciding to declare for Germany. I don't buy this. I really don't buy it, unless I'm being delusional again. I'm on Marcel's vibe today, and I'm just gonna be outrageous. Unless Thomas Tuchel comes to United and he brings him with him. That's the only way I see it happening. Other than that, I cannot see that happening. And where would Bruno Fernandes even exist? Where in all of this, where would Bruno Fernandes even exist? I don't see it, and that's why I'm saying for me it's not realistic enough. Let me see what you lot are saying. Big up Julian says Wirtz is not leaving until 2025. His father said so weeks ago, as they treated him well while out with the horrible injury. So I call BS on that. I believe it as well. IK says there is no way on planet Earth for Musiala and Wirtz to come to United. They want to play Champions League football, not Conference League football. Mustafa, big up to Mustafa, says he's got 150. Wirtz has 150 million release clause. Ridwan says that as well. Ed says Wirtz and Musiala are going nowhere unless 150 million plus offers are coming in for them. Mongezi says, I don't think Musiala moves to a club without a clear project vision plan, and United's plan is opaque at best. Yeah, I think, and that's why I said the uncertainty surrounding Manchester United right now might make it a difficult summer transfer window. Like I literally said that I can imagine it being a difficult summer transfer window. Now, another few players that has been the topic of discussion, and really the real center of my stream today, because I would like to hear everybody's thoughts. If you lot don't follow me now. Go on Twitter and follow me now at @MinaFootball. I put out a tweet earlier today. Man United report, and this was off the back of the news that Manchester United are looking at Araujo as a centre-back option. And I am still under the impression that Manchester United need at least 2 centre-backs this summer. They need to buy at least 2 centre-backs, starting centre-backs. What does that mean for Lisandro Martinez? I don't know what would be on the horizon for him. I don't know. I see people talking about the idea of having him at DM. I just think, returning from injury, mobility, all of that stuff, let's slow down before we think about that. But Manchester United have to buy 2 centre-backs starting this year. Who is it that you guys are taking from this list? Araujo, Todibo, Branthwaite, Adarabioyo, De Ligt, and Tapsoba. By the way, can I just say, Todibo, Araujo, De Ligt, well, these are names that just recycle every summer. Can I say that? There is not, the last 2 summers, I would say United have been linked to these lot. De Ligt especially. De Ligt, I think since his times at Ajax, Juve, and now at Bayern, a name that I'm going to keep hearing. I feel like I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to keep hearing it. For me, it makes sense to have Todibo as an option. I'm not too 100% sure about Araujo. I'm not going to lie. Not that I don't think he's a good centre-back. I hate Barcelona. Let me just put it like that. I hate Barcelona. I don't want to do them a favour when they're struggling financially, because they're going to put a big price tag on his head. Todibo is the only one I think that has a relatively affordable fee on his head. Adarabioyo is going to be available on a free. He's not renewing with Fulham. Todibo reportedly 45 million euros, so that's about 38 million pound. I would actually, in that case, because Adarabioyo is on a free agent, I would take 3 of them. For me, Adarabioyo will be a given because he's free. I think the biggest part of, especially with what Premier League owners have, excuse me guys, I got the hiccups, especially because of Premier League owners have approved the spending cap. You're going to have to try and get as many free players in. Mark Gay is another player that Manchester United are linked to, Crystal Palace centre-back. That's another player connected. I think we have to look at the idea of having a Premier League kind of influenced centre-back. So it'd be between Branthwaite and, Adarabioyo. But obviously, if you could get both, go right ahead. But Everton are going to be looking at 80 million at the least for Branthwaite. Do I think he's worth 80 million? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We can get to Todibo with Nice connections, and Branthwaite is possible. The others, no chance. I think all of them, Tapsoba, De Ligt, every single one of them, even add Mark Gay to this list. I think Manchester United stand a chance for every single one. Genuinely, I think it's a good chance. We need PL proven players, not gambles on. I'm not going to say that, but yeah, we can't gamble on players like Anthony and Onana. Todibo is this decade's version of Gayton and Schneider were previously. Big up to Julian, says, look at my previous comment. Araujo all day long, world class and a leader. United doesn't have ilk in this squad. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he's, I don't know, maybe I'm judging him based on his last couple of Champions League games, but I just feel like he's a bit erratic sometimes. I feel like he's a bit erratic. Let me see what people are actually saying in my replies. I didn't actually look. Oh, look, the first one is Araujo, erratic, and would cost a fortune. Branthwaite, not too convinced. Tosin on a free, yes please. Delit, yes please. Todibo as a right back, don't mind. Tapsoba, no. Next person said Delit is overrated. I'll go with Tapsoba and Araujo. That's probably the first person I've seen that said Tapsoba. Araujo isn't for sale. Why would he downgrade? Tosin and Branthwaite. Araujo and Branthwaite, expensive, I know, but that's what United needs. Tosin and Todibo, cheap and effective. Todibo will cost like 40 million. Tosin is on free. Big up to Mike, resident of this channel, says we need at least 4 with some backup to challenge each other. All right, so the common one I'm seeing is, you know what, I'm seeing a bit of everything, guys. I'm really seeing a bit of everything. I'm seeing Tapsoba is the only one that I ain't really seen mentioned. Everybody is saying Adebayo and Todibo, and then Todibo and Branthwaite. Few people saying Araujo. It's pretty interesting. I never actually looked at the replies. You know me, guys. I just put a tweet out and then I just come off and then I just go about it. A controversial take. I prefer Anderson from Palace over Gay. I think he's got a foot on him, and when I say a foot on him, he's a good passer. He is a very good passer. He's got decent ball playing ability from the back. This is recency bias based on that last game in the UCL. Form wavers, but class is permanent. Julian is a big fan of Araujo. The champ says hopefully we sell Martinez for 25 and replace with Todibo. Do you think Man United need to sell Lisandro Martinez? Is that a I don't know if that's a controversial take, guys. I don't know if that's a controversial take. Does anybody agree? Do Manchester United need to sell Lisandro Martinez? And for 25 million, that is a very small fee. Now look at this, guys. Shout out to my graphic designer in it. Shout out to my graphic designer, man. I have to show you this. I hope you guys can see it. How good does he look in a United shirt? This is for a thumbnail for a video that I'm doing. And shout out to my graphic designer, yeah. But I see it. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. 45 million. I'm kind of seeing it. I like the vision. I like the vision. That's all I have to say. I like the vision. Obviously, next season's kit is going to be looking a bit different. I think they're going to be sponsored by Snapdragon or whatever, if the leaks that I've seen is true. But this looks nice. This is something I can get used to. This is something I could get behind. I'm not going to lie. I don't like to always, I hate putting like these kind of pictures up on the screen. I just had to in it because I was looking through, the artwork. Another player. And these are just all people that I'm looking at that I think United should sign. And this is another player that we've seen some talk. We've seen some talk about Frimpong, Jeremy Frimpong, not the only Leverkusen player that United have been linked to. Apparently, Erik Ten Hag has always been a fan of him. He plays wing back, so I don't know if he can play right back. When I speak to people who follow Bayer Leverkusen and follow Frimpong particularly, they say that he can't play right back. Can I just say also, he looks so happy. He looks so happy when they won the title. I'm just like, bro, that smile is going to come off your face as soon as you touch Manchester United. Immediately. Oh, duty calls, guys. Hello? Sorry, guys. You know, I don't usually do that. I don't usually do that. Frimpong release clause is cheap. Yeah, I think he's got like 30 something. Here we go. Big up to Mustafa says Frimpong release clause 34 million. 34 million is basically like double what we paid for Malacia. That is double what we paid for Malacia. Wajid says that man is not leaving. Defo, a right wing back, not a right back. I agree. Does Frimpong want to play for a footballing genius like Alonso or a prat like Ten Hag? Come on, guys, be respectful in the chat. If you don't agree with, Ten Hag, no need to call him names, guys. Come on. Don't do that, man. This is a good community. This is positive vibes, guys. I'd play Frimpong right wing. Who cares? Anthony is non-existent anyways. And this is where, the next topic kind of leads to when we talk about the idea of a right winger. Because we've been linked to quite a few. Big up to Saeed in the chat. I'll be on his channel in about 45 minutes, guys. So come through there as well for a Straight Jacket podcast. Man United have to buy a right winger, right? All right. No pun intended. United have to buy a right winger. The right winger market is washed. Like, let's be honest, guys. Let's be dead ass. Outside of the idea of Elise, there is nobody out there for United to go and buy. Anthony has to be sold. Now, the only way that I see United not buying a right winger and investing their money in, for me, the foundations, which is the defense, the midfield, and a striker. That's what I want. Right wing would actually be a non-priority for me. My only priority of the right wing is getting rid of Anthony. That would be my priority. I like Garnacho on the right. People might not agree with me. I like Garnacho on the right. I think he's starting level, but you need to have alternatives. You need to have rotation. Ahmad can play on the right for me. Now the left-hand side is the interesting part because I know people have the idea of Rashford being gone, but the team that I'm building for Manchester United next year, and you're gonna see it. I'm gonna do a video, guys. Should be out sometime this week. Building a Manchester United summer transfer window. Rashford is part of that team next year. I know some people might not agree, but Rashford will be part of that. For me, it is important. I probably think as equally important as buying a centre back, United have to buy a striker. Like, I'm talking 30 goals a game striker, because Rasmus Højlund is going to take him, I think, probably another 2 seasons. Yeah, it'll probably take him about another 2 seasons to hit that 30 goal mark. I think he's on 15 right now, or 14 in all comps. I think it'll take him about another 2 seasons to hit 30 goals all competitions. And that's not saying I'm not patient, but I don't think he's going to get there without the experience around him. And for that reason, I think United have to buy a striker. So they have to buy a midfielder, another player who, I think I got a picture of him as well here somewhere in the United chat. I got 2 of them, Yusuf Fofana and Amadou Onana, 2 players that I'm torn a little bit about who I would want in the midfield. I know a lot of you lot don't like the idea of Amadou Onana. I also like the idea of Yusuf Fofana from Monaco, so that is a bit debatable. Mohammed says I would take Rashford at Barcelona. Bring back Greenwood, Ahmad, Sancho, and then Garnacho. I think Sancho's done at United. I think they will sell him whether or not Erik Ten Hag stays. I don't know too much about Greenwood. I am not gonna lie, I haven't been following that news much, but I do think he is another player that they will probably deal with that a bit, like, with caution. I think they will deal with it with caution. But I can see a lot of the money for United this summer transfer window from outgoings. I can see it coming from Greenwood and Sancho. Mustafa says Elise, Ivan Toney, and 2 centre backs and a left back. Controversial take. I don't know about Ivan Toney. Unless Brentford ain't looking for a fat check. Unless they are not looking for a fat check, and I'm talking about 70, 80 million. If we can get Ivan Toney for 40 million, take it. I don't know if that's me being a cheapskate, by the way. I don't know if that's me suggesting that United need to play it cheap. But I genuinely think that Ivan Toney, I personally thought Ivan Toney would be going to somewhere like Arsenal, until a lot of Arsenal fans told me that's not going to happen. A lot of Arsenal fans said that they actually don't want Ivan Toney. I was always under the impression that it was going to be an Ivan Toney to Arsenal. Abe Swad says, does anyone think any of our Ethans can fill the squad next year? Ennis, Wheatley, Williams. I want to see Ethan Wheatley. He scored 2 goals, I think, again today against Southampton for the under 21s, I think, or under 18s. I'd like him to go on loan. from the few games that I've watched of him, he gives me striker vibes. He gives me number 9 vibes. I'd like him to go to Middlesbrough. Michael Carrick, pick up your phone. Pick up your phone. I would like for him to go to Middlesbrough. In particular, I want him to go to a championship team. I don't want him to go League One. I don't want him to go League Two. I want him to go on a loan spell, even if it's like a Premier League lower table side, like I don't know, if Forest stay up or something like that. That would be great, just to see what level he's playing at senior football. I don't know how likely he will go straight from academy to first team, because I feel like that pathway is only really a guarantee when you are a player like Kobe or Garnacho in particular, like in recent years, or if there is a major injury crisis in the front line, and the way that Omari Forson got his debut and Ethan Wheatley too. So I think I don't see any player coming straight from academy to first team. I don't see that happening at all. Now, saying at all is a bit harsh, but yeah, I don't see it happening as of right now. But it'll be very interesting to see that. And as Lakers getting swept, don't even remind me. You know, there's never been a time, can I just say, guys, if you didn't know, guys, I'm a Lakers fan. Been a Lakers fan for the last about 16 years. I've been a Lakers fan, guys. And there's never been a time in my life, except for like 2009, 10 times. Other than that, there's never been a time where United and Lakers have been good at the same time. No, I mean, sorry. In 16 years of my life watching football and basketball, if the Lakers are good, Man United's good. And if the Lakers suck, United suck. There's never been a time where one's doing good and one sucks. I remember there was a time where the Lakers and Man United were so bad. Yeah, collectively, they were so bad. I started watching NFL. And I said to my cousin in America, I said, who's the best team in the NFL right now? And my cousin said to me, it was the New England Patriots. I said, yeah, I'm a New England Patriots fan. My cousin said, it makes no sense how you supporting New England Patriots and you support the Lakers. Like, that's basically the New England Patriots. I guess the equivalent is the Boston Celtics, and that's the Lakers is one of their biggest rivals. So my cousin was like, what's wrong with you? I said, I just want to win. I don't care about anything. The second year of me being a New England fan, we won the Super Bowl. And that just said, I was just like, wow. Life humbles you, innit? Because the Patriots suck. The Patriots suck now. They've sucked I've stopped since they became so bad. I stopped watching the NFL. But that just shows you how bad Manchester United and the Lakers were, that I started watching another sport and started supporting another team in a sport, just so that I could get some joy and some excitement from watching a sport and watching my team be good at it. Life comes at you fast because Patriots suck. The Lakers actually don't suck. I just, again, similar to Man United, men and women's, I don't rate the manager. So that's the issue with the Lakers. Bro, that's like a new football fan choosing Man City. It's basically like that. It's literally like that. My cousin was calling me a glory hunter for the longest, because my cousins support they support the Vikings. Some of my cousins support what's the team in Atlanta called? I forgot what the Falcons. Some of my cousins support the Falcons. So they support the teams of the state or the city, whatever that they're from. Whereas me, I convinced my cousin that I picked New England. Yeah. I told my cousin I picked New England because they have the term England in their team. So I'm going to support them because I'm from England. My cousin just said I was a glory hunter. Luke is legit teaching the Yanks how to play basketball. It's hilarious. You know what the funny thing is, yeah? The funny thing is about basketball, because I like to watch basketball, but obviously, like, Lakers they irritate me. My favorite player outside of the Lakers is the guy that has been causing us problems for the last couple of years. Nikola Jokic. Jokic is my favorite player, yeah, in the NBA right now. You know, over the last 10 years, you know, people had Steph Curry as their favorite player. People had like Damian Lillard. But in recent years, Giannis. Jokic has been my favorite. For some reason, I just liked him when he came to the league, and he gave me this bad boy vibe, like, bad boy. I'm just gonna come, do my job, go home. Going back to his home country every summer, putting on weight, smoking cigarettes, doing what he wants, coming back and bossing the league. I was just like, this guy he's the G. And wallahi, he's just been causing problems for the Lakers. Like, ever since the Lakers beat Denver Nuggets in the bubble, it's like he took it personal. It's like he just took everything personal, yeah? And now he's just like, every time I come up against you guys in the playoffs, I'm going to make your life hell. And I'm always like, could it be anyone but him? Anyone but him, because I have a Jokic jersey. I actually like him. And obviously, Europeans are on the up right now in the NBA. Some of the best players right now in the NBA are European players. Luka Doncic, Giannis, of course, himself. And then you got Embiid, my African brother. So I've always had this argument about Jokic versus Embiid. I always side with Jokic, but I like Embiid too. But I don't know, man. It's no coincidence that my football team and my basketball team both suck at the same times. Like right now, the Lakers being in the playoffs, yeah. We are the pity participation. It's like Man United just being in the Champions League this year. We ain't gonna do anything. We're just there to make up the numbers. Literally, we are just there to make up the numbers. Not giving Embiid that fake US team spot when the French are trying to get him too. Yeah, I think he committed to the US, right? I think he committed to the US. But before we wrap it up, guys, you know what? Someone keeps asking me every time what is like my thoughts on just the whole Erik ten Hag thing, and whether United should get rid of him or part ways with him. Has there been a decision made? I just want to see the end of the season, guys. I just want to see. Oh my God, did Anthony do an interview with The Athletic? Did he do a... Nah, he didn't. He didn't. So now he's doing interviews with actual... Oh, he did do there's some quotes. Minno's holding on to that fence for dear life. Stop asking. Listen, I'm going to keep it a buck, yeah? I'm going to keep it a buck, guys. I just want the end of the season to come today. Like, the end of the end of the season could not come quick enough. Like, I've been saying this back in March. I don't know if you lot remember. Are you on UV tonight? Yes, I am. I will be on UV 6 o'clock, guys. We'll be live on United View. I'll be there fighting my corner as always. I need you lot in the chat, man. I need you lot in the chat. They're always coming for me on the stream. I'm really the only one that's, I'm not on the fence, but I don't agree with a lot of people on the panel, and they've been trying to get me for my opinions. They've been trying to get onto me. KG was trying to make me retract my opinion back in February, and now look at KG. He's about to be on the same opinion as me. Look at that. Marcel, I'm coming for Marcel today because I can't deal anymore with the configuration and all the upregulation, inadination, and all of that kind of stuff. It's gonna be an interesting one. So I'm gonna need the minions in the chat. I'm gonna need the minions in the chat. I just want to see the end of the season, guys. Like, that's it. And let me start doing more. I should just start doing watch alongs. No more United stuff. Just do watch alongs for other teams. And just talk about other football stuff. Because every day, I'll be real, and I don't know if you lot feel the same, but when United play, yeah, I dread it. I'm in a place now where I dread watch. I know people who are United fans. Saeed was talking about the other day, who they're just giving away their ticket now. No one wants to go to their games anymore at Old Trafford. And that's how bad the situation is. That's why I genuinely think, I've said this time and time again, Ineos know where they stand. Ineos know where they stand when it comes to particular players. And as a result, Ineos know where they stand when it comes to the manager. Do not let anything fool you. The idea of Ajax still wanting Ten Hag, let him go back there then. Go back. You don't have to stay here and build this project that you really think is the bee's knees. Go back to Ajax, because Ajax themselves have been crap, by the way, since he left. They've been ass, but also they've got a crap team as well. That team is so bad. But let him go back there. Because I genuinely think Ineos know Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Jean-Claude Blanc, all of them man there, Sir Daves Brelford, they knew who they wanted as CEO. They knew who they wanted as sporting director. They knew who they wanted as head of recruitment. But people want me to believe that they don't know who they don't know who they want as manager, and they're still trying to decide. They know. They know. It's just not public news. The same way it wasn't public news when Umar Barada was being touted to be CEO. Like it wasn't. It was public news about Jason Wilcox, and it is public news about Dan Ashworth. But it's not public news when it's done, because when it's done, who announces it? Ornstein, bam, comes in with the Ornstein bomb. He's the only one that really knows what's happening, because when Ornstein, and this is why I say I rate Ornstein. Ornstein for me is the top of every football journalist, because when he tweets something, that's done. It's done. The club's about to announce it in 5 minutes time. And what happened with Jason Wilcox? He was announced in 5 minutes time. What happened with Ramon Barada? Announced in a few minutes time after that. So in my opinion, Erik ten Hag, if he was the future of what Ineos are building, they would have come out and said it a long time ago. But the fact that they haven't said it, that says a lot. That says a lot. And sometimes, like I say, you don't have to say something for people to understand what it is, like the reality. Sometimes some things are better left unsaid. And when it's not, when it's left unsaid, you know what that means, basically. And with Erik ten Hag and the situation at United right now, that's kind of what it is. IK says that Burnley game finished me off. It took you until the Burnley game to be finished off this season, guys. I was finished since fucking excuse my language. I was finished since Galatasaray. Guys, I'm not joking. I was finished since Galatasaray at Old Trafford. That finished me off. I can't believe IK just said that Burnley game finished, bro. For me the nail was in the coffin after the Galatasaray game, and I was just hovering over the coffin from then until December. And I think it was Forest. I think it was Nottingham Forest when they beat us at Old Trafford in December. Let me double check. Hold on. It's not when they no. Hold on. It's not when they beat us at Old Trafford. Was it? Oh, it's Bournemouth, because it's when Solanke just dunked on us. It was Bournemouth. No, what game was it in December that finished? I'm sorry, guys. Clearly I'm not a good example, because I'm here trying to remember if it was Bournemouth or Nottingham Forest that dunked on us in December that had me traumatized. Let me double check. Oh my god, that Galatasaray. It was Bournemouth. It was Bournemouth at the beginning of December. That was the one that at Old Trafford. That's when I said enough. That's when I've had, and I think that's the first time I actually came on stream and I said, Erik ten Hag out. I can't deal with this guy anymore. And then I returned back a couple of weeks later, West Ham 2-0, and then I returned again a few days before New Year's after the Nottingham Forest. So I was right. It was Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, but it was that December period for me that just killed me off. I don't want to say killed me off, because I'm still, alhamdulillah, very much alive. But that's when I was done with the season. And I remember specifically because February we had a run of games. In February. Wolves, we won by 1 goal. We beat West Ham. We beat Villa. We beat Luton Town. And I remember after the Luton Town stream, after the Luton Town game, I came on UV and I still was very much anti Ten Hag, and I was told to retract it. They all laughed at me then, guys. Nobody's laughing now. Nobody is laughing now. Well, since that Gala game, I can't count the amount of United games I've watched on my hands. I'll be real, guys. I still watch every United game, but it's like there's a gun being held to my head, and I'm sitting there watching it. Like, I don't know why I put myself through it. One of my siblings the other day said to me, I was sitting there watching the United game at my family house, and one of my siblings was like to me, "Why are you watching the game? Like, you're gonna lose." And I was like, I just, it's when you're in a relationship, guys, and it's not good for you, but you're still there. That's what we're going through this year. That is really what we are going through this year. I did the same on Saturday. Think about not going to Arsenal or Newcastle either. It's an expensive way to be depressed every 5 days. I gave away my Arsenal ticket. I had a ticket for United versus Arsenal. I gave it away not because I don't want to go. I did want to go, but it clashes with the Women's FA Cup final. I'd rather go watch our chances of winning a cup rather than watch us potentially give the trophy to Arsenal. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion in it. But yeah, I know a lot of people that have been really giving away their tickets. And I think it will just continue. I think it will only just continue for the last couple games. But you guys know what it is, man. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I know I've been saying for a minute, call-in show. I'm going to get around to it. I'm going to get around to it, guys. I'm going to get around to the call-in shows. But we'll be here. We'll be live throughout the week. Watch-alongs. Every day 4 p.m. streams, as always. Nice little chit chat. I'll be live on Saeed's channel we'll be live in 25 minutes, so 5:30 UK time. I'll only be there for half an hour, then I'll be on UV at 6 p.m. So I hope to catch a lot of you then. You lot know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Big up to everyone that sent in super chats today. Big up to Wajid with the gifted memberships today. Appreciate everyone for sticking around. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. And if you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get emojis, you get your custom member content. You get to support the growth of the channel. You get priority for calling shows and all of that stuff as well. But I'll be back tomorrow here again, 4 p.m. unless something like wonderful happens between now and tonight. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. as always. You don't know what it is. It's your girl Minna. Peace.